Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be going over every single primary and secondary gun available in the new Battlefield Hardline game. This footage was recorded by myself at a Hardline event about 1 month ago where we got to check out some pretty early access of the game, and you're going to see some more footage from that later today. Getting right to it, we're going to start off with the operator class. The first gun here is the R0993. This is essentially an M4 made by Colt. It is a shorter M4 designed for close quarter combat. You'll notice it has a rate of fire of 900. This is going to be a beast of a weapon, and a lot of people were saying it was their favorite while we were playing at the event. Then we have the M16A3 making a return in Battlefield Hardline. You'll notice its rate of fire is 800, so the M16 and the M4 are not necessarily going to coincide with the same rate of fire anymore. Then we have the M416. You'll notice it has a standard magazine of 28 and of course an extended of 38. Most of these weapons here have an extended magazine option, but I find it weird that the magazine is limited to 28 since it feeds the exact same mag as the previous two weapons. Then we have the SIG SG553, a nice solid rate of fire at 750 rounds per minute. These have always been solid weapons in the Battlefield franchise, and I'm looking forward to trying this one out. Then we have a nice classic woodstock AKM. It has some more modern rail space on the front of the weapon. As you can see from its stats, it's going to shoot a bit slower but hit a lot harder. And of course you can't have a full-size AKM without the shorter variant. This is the AKS-74U, a very popular gun in the Battlefield franchise. It's also worth mentioning that the AKS and the AKM are going to be criminal-specific weapons at the beginning of the game, and as you progress further, you will eventually be able to unlock stuff like the M4 and the M16. Likewise, if you're playing on the police side, you'll have the M4, the M16, and you'll have to progress further to unlock the AKM and the AKS-74U. Next up, we have the ever-popular G36C. You'll notice it has a 700 round per minute rate of fire, which is splitting the difference between the Battlefield 3 and the Battlefield 4 variants. Then we have the ARM, which is the Israelis IMI Galil, and I'm looking forward to having a classic Galil in the game for a change. And making a return from Battlefield 4, we have the HCAR556. You might be scratching your head thinking, what is the HCAR556? That pretty much just stands for carbine that shoots 5.56 rounds. This is actually the ACE-21. And you'll notice it has a default magazine size of 40 rounds. Then we have the L85A2, which is a British carbine, and this is the only bullpup weapon that is available currently for the operator class. Next up, we have the ACWR, or more commonly known as the ACR, or Masada, or Bushmaster. This gun has a lot of names, but it is a very cool weapon that was designed to replace the M4. A lot of cool high-tech features and lightweight. For sidearms, the operator has 4 9mm pistols to choose from. We have the 92FS, also known as the M9, then we have the P226, the G17, which oddly has better stats than the rest of the guns, and then the CZ75. For the special weapons category, which every class has access to, we have the T62 Crew taser gun, and then we also have the tracking dart, which can be used to track people behind walls and objects, and also used in conjunction with rocket launchers to lock your target. And now for the mechanics weapons. His first one here is the MP5K. You'll notice it has a 20 rounds by default, but you can extend it to 30, so that's sort of the Battlefield 3 thing going on again. We have the UMP45, a classic in any shooter. We have the MPX, which is making a return, and you'll notice it does have the option for an extended mag to increase its mag to 40. Then we have the K10, which is also known as the Kriss Vector. This shoots the same round as the UMP45, but it does it at 1200 rounds per minute. This is actually one of my favorite guns that I was using at the time. The damage on this thing is insane. We have an Uzi, which a lot of people got to play around with during the beta, and you now have the option to extend it to 50 rounds per mag, which is nice. Of course, the P90, again another 50 round magazine. Then we have an interesting gun, the M&P40, aka the Swedish K. This is an SMG. It shoots a 9mm round. It's got a weird magazine of 36 rounds, and it was originally put in the field in 1945. It was actually used for quite a while. Interesting little gun. I'm looking forward to using it. And the last gun for the mechanic is the FMG9 folding machine gun. This thing starts off as a brick. Every time you whip the gun out, you hit a little button on it, and it transforms basically into a little machine gun. Tiny little SMG, shoots 9mm rounds. It's got a 33 round magazine, and it is just the coolest looking gun in the game. Now when it comes to sidearms, the mechanic is all about revolver. Starting off, you have the 38 Snub, which is basically a classic police revolver, very small, only has 5 shots. Then moving up, we have the 357 RS, which is actually a 327 TRR8 revolver. This thing has 8 shots and it's going to pack a real punch. Moving down, we've got the 6-shot 44 Magnum, a classic in Battlefield, a classic in real life. Looking forward to using this gun again. And then below that, we have a very interesting little pistol. This is the 410 Jury, also known as the Taurus Judge. This is basically a mini shotgun. It shoots 410 shotgun shells. It's going to be insane using this thing, and I can't wait to try it out. Moving on to the Enforcer class, we have the 870 Police Magnum. It's basically a silver 870, which just looks sexy, and I can't wait to use it. Then we have the 37 Stakeout, also known as the Ithaca 37. Has a 6-round magazine, which is a little smaller than the 870, but it certainly produced some pretty devastating results in our tests. And because you can never have enough pump-action shotguns, we got the Spaz 12, and then down from there we have a double barrel, which I think a lot of people also tried out in the beta. Packs a punch, you only get 2 shots, it's sort of an all or nothing type weapon. You'll notice the Enforcer has 2 different categories for its primary weapons. The shotguns, which we just covered, and now the battle rifles. The first one being the SCAR H, without a stock, which looks a bit weird, and sure, it certainly does look weird. You can, however, attach a stock to it as an option. Below the SCAR, we have a very cool gun called the HCAR. This is the Heavy Counter Assault Rifle. It's based off of the BAR from Battlefield 1942, the Browning automatic rifle. This thing is going to hit like a ton of bricks. Can't wait to try it out in game. It's just such a cool re-envisioning of a classic gun. And for those of you who've been wanting to see an FAL in Battlefield, here it is, the SA58 OSW. It is slightly shorter than your classic FAL because it is the Operational Special Weapon variant. Then we have the HK51, which is essentially a shorter G3. It's got a shorter barrel and a collapsible stock. I love the G3 from Battlefield 3, and subsequently, when I played with this gun in Battlefield Hardline, it was one of my favorites for the Enforcer. It just absolutely tears people apart. For sidearms, the Enforcer gets a lot of heavy-hitting classics. We have the 45T, which is essentially the HK45, but a tactical variant of it. Then we have the M1911A1, again another classic. Then we have the 40 Pro, which is the M&P40 Pro Series. Not too familiar with this pistol. And then after that, we have something that's very special. It's called the Bald Eagle in-game, which we all know is actually the Desert Eagle or the Deagle. But this time around, instead of being the 44 caliber, this is the 50 caliber variant of the gun. It has a 7-round magazine, and it is going to be an absolute monster. Then we have the professionals weapons, which are broken up into bolt-action sniper rifles and semi-automatic sniper rifles. Starting off, we have the Scout Elite, which is making a return from previous Battlefield games. Then we have the R700 LTR, which is basically as close as you can get to the M24 from Bad Company 2. So fans of that gun, you can rejoice as it's coming back in this game. We have the AWM, which stands for Arctic Warfare Magnum. This is very similar to the L96. In fact, I'm not really too sure what the differences are between those two guns. Then we have the 300 Knockout, which is the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle, and this is basically made as an upgrade to the M24. It should be one of the heavier hitting rifles in the game. Moving on to the semi-auto sniper rifles, we start off with the SOCOM 16, which is a really cool variant of the M14. It's got a shorter barrel and a lot of rail space. Below that, we have the SR25, which is practically the same thing as the Mark 11 Mod 0 from previous Battlefield games. Then we have the PTR91, which looks almost identical to a G3, and that's because it's basically an American gun based on the G3 design. Then we have the Saiga 308, which is a Saiga-made DMR. I don't believe this has ever been in a Battlefield game before. Then when it comes to sidearms, the Professional has a lot of full auto options. It has the G18, which is a full auto Glock. Then we have the 93R, which is basically a burst fire M9, one of my favorite guns from Battlefield 3. Then we have the Tech 9, which is the Intratec machine pistol. We'll have to see how this compares to the G18. It's very similar in many ways. Then we have the Mac 10, and finally there's a Mac 10 coming into a Battlefield game. They had an excuse to put it into one. It has 15 rounds by default, but you can upgrade it with extended mags to give it 30 rounds, and it has a rate of fire of 1145 rounds rounds per minute, which is crazy. Without a doubt, it's one of my favorite sidearms for the professional class. And that wraps it up for the weapons list in Battlefield Hardline. Stay tuned for more content today, covering some of the class gadgets and other things in the game. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.